Through our darkest moments, through struggles, through crises that we deal with in our lives, when we don't see no way out of that dark tunnel, when we don't see no way off the ground, we don't see no way out of this crisis we feel. There's no hope left. There's nobody to help us. There's nobody to save you. That's when you truly find out what a person's made of. That's when you truly see what a person's character is. You see what that character is because you see if that person can pick themselves off the ground, not looking for someone to reach out because there's no one to reach out a hand to help you. When they can pick themselves off the ground, when they can find light in a tunnel that shows nothing but darkness, when they can find that little glimpse of light, when they can find that little bit of energy to push them to go a little bit further, when they can find that courage to fight back even though it seemed like the battle was lost, it shows the true character of a person. It shows the true strength of a person that can adapt to a situation that seems out of control. It's when we're going through crisis and dark situations, in our darkest hours, in our darkest moments is when we find out who we truly are and what we're truly made of. It stands same for leadership. It stands the same for leadership. When we look at leadership, we want to have a leader in power that's going to guide us out of these dark hours because we know these moments are going to come. We know these crises are going to come in our lives. In one way or other, we know a situation is going to come. And we're going to look for that leader to guide us out, that leader to rejuvenate that hope inside of us, that passion inside of us, that fight inside of us. To let us know that even though we feel alone, we're not alone and we can still get through whatever we're going through. We look at our current commander-in-chief, the leader of the free world, the president of the United States. And when he stands in front of a bunch of media cameras, he utters out the words that we should put disinfectant into needles and inject that to people because it does good to fight against the coronavirus. And it do good with cleaning out people's lungs because that's what's most effective. We got to wonder, what kind of leadership do we have in its darkest hour? But then we got to look back and we got to look at what is a true leader? What is an example of a true leadership? Go back to World War II, because this is a closer situation to what we're dealing with right now. During World War II, you remember Winston Churchill? You don't know who he is. You probably never heard of this guy. Former Prime Minister of England during World War II. Nazi Germany was bombing cities in London, bombing regular houses just like you and me that we live in, businesses that we frequently go and shop at. They were bombing them, killing regular people, not military, just regular citizens. People in London were afraid. They were scared. They were living in subways, trying to survive these nightly air raids, not knowing when their neighborhood was going to be bombed next. But what did Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister of England, do in this dark moment? He got on the radio because there was no TV. There was no social media and all that at the time. All they had was radio. He spoke to his people. He walked through the rubble during the day, and he let the camera see him. He spoke hope into the people. He let his people know that they're not going to fall to the tyranny of what Nazi Germany was trying to bring to them. They were not going to fall and bow down to Nazi Germany. They were going to stand up and fight to the last man. To the last man or woman, they're going to stand up and fight. They're not going to give in to Nazi Germany's fear that they were trying to put into them. He rejuvenated the whole nation. In a moment when he was standing alone and staring defeat in the eyes, he gave his nation, he gave his people hope. That even though you're in that tunnel, and it's completely darkness, there can be light. He found and he's seen the light. He showed the true characteristics of a leader. Now, when we look at what we're dealing with today, we wonder, why would you even insinuate to put a lethal chemical, which is disinfectants, into our body? Now, many of you out there probably saying, oh, he was just joking, it was just a joke. Can't you take a joke? We're so sensitive now. And you're right. In a lot of ways we are. As a whole community, as a country, as people today, as a generation, we are very, very sensitive. But you gotta be mindful of some of the things you say at the same time. Because when you're talking about telling people to inject themselves with disinfectant, People are going to take that and they're going to run with it. You're going to have people actually going to the store buying bleach, pouring it into their cups, feeding it to their kids, feeding it to themselves because they look at the bottle, the back of a Clorox bottle or some Clorox wipes and it says, oh, this kills human coronavirus, so it'll kill it, so I'll drink this. And the president said we should do it. It'll actually kill it inside of us or make us immune to it. You got people who actually believe that. And why you may say that? Because they lack common sense. Common sense is not embedded in every single person. We're dealing with a generation that, remember, that was actually pouring ice water on themselves. Raising ice water on themselves. We're dealing with a generation of people who are pouring cinnamon in their throats because it was a challenge. We're dealing with a generation of people who are eating laundry detergent pods, knowing that they're lethal, no matter how many warnings they got, just because it was a challenge. The generation of people who are literally going into their laundry rooms, going into the stores, buying Tide Pods, popping them in their mouth and eating them like they're candy because of a challenge. You're dealing with people like that. So when you know that people have done this and you know the history of what people done and the lack of common sense that people show in moments, just to get attention, you don't think that people would actually go out, listen to the president saying that this would kill the coronavirus and this would clear up people's lungs and go out and get desperate enough to do this, especially when there's no cure in sight, when we don't have no vaccine in sight, when there's nothing in sight that's going to fight back against this, when fear is at its highest, when you don't see no light at the end of the tunnel, you don't think that people would actually go out and try this? And you, as our leader, as our commander-in-chief, why would you stand out there and even put something out there? Why would you be so irresponsible to put this information out there? To give people hope, they're thinking that this thing that's going to help them, putting disinfectant in their bodies, in their system will help them. Knowing that this is the very thing that will kill people. But you're not using common sense and you're not recognizing that a lot of people throughout history, throughout our generation right now do not use common sense. They don't. Listen, you gave out stimulus packages. We'll get to that in a second. But them stimulus packages and the cents and dollars that came with the stimulus package does not present common sense that goes into our minds. It's the way we think and process information. So you got some people who are watching that and thinking, the president said that if we inject ourselves with disinfectant, it'll kill the coronavirus. Then they look in the back of a can and saying that it says, oh, this kills a human coronavirus, and thinking, hey, if I drink this, if the virus lives inside me, it's going to kill. This is the medicine. This is the solution. And you gotta remember, it's people who don't have common sense, and then you have people who are just looking for a glimmer of hope in a dark situation. Looking for a glimmer of hope. But you gotta look at it and say, the leader of the free world, the commander-in-chief, the man who has his finger on the button for atomic weapons, destruction of the whole entire world, is giving people, citizens in this country, who are desperate, who are truly desperate, for a solution and an end to this pandemic that we're dealing with, the one thing that can kill him. He's basically taking the role of a cult leader and telling him, hey, let's drink this Kool-Aid, knowing that we'll all die. You know the end is. He doesn't need to go talk to doctors. How? How did we get here where we lost common sense? How did we get here? Why would you do that? This is the most irresponsible thing and the most embarrassing thing that I ever saw. And believe me, a lot of embarrassing things I've seen from this administration, but this is scary now because, like I said, we're dealing with a desperate time where people are truly desperate for a solution to a problem where we don't see it end in sight. And when you're recommending something such like this, it's reckless, it's dangerous, it's irresponsible, because we have to recognize once again, people are not using common sense. Exhibit A, social distancing, and doctors are coming on media sites, news sites everywhere and talking about practicing social distance, the importance of social distance, keeping 6 feet away from people when you're at stores, when you're out, keeping social distance, not traveling in large crowds, for the protection of not only yourself and your own health, but your family's health. Now, let's recognize something. We all know something throughout this show, throughout the history of doing this show, throughout the history of this world, that a lot of times we don't really care about too many people outside of our own personal circle. Now we all can recognize that and agree that that's truth. Whether we want to admit to it or not, it's truth that we mostly worry about people in our own homes, people who are in our own circle, the people we care about the most. Okay, we worry about protecting them. Cool, we recognize that. Now we go back to Exhibit A. Social distancing will protect not only other people out here, but your family members, because the coronavirus doesn't show up in your system immediately. It takes days. So therefore, if you're not practicing social distancing and you're going out there interacting, getting too close to people, touching things, not wearing face masks or gloves while you're out, being irresponsible, then you technically are bringing the possible thing that the pandemic or the coronavirus into your home to affect the people that you love. But despite many doctors and people keep telling you to practice social distancing, you got people who are not practicing basic common sense and listening. But then why should we be surprised? Doctors telling you many things throughout your life. They're telling you don't smoke cigarettes because it causes cancer, but you're still smoking them. Telling you not to drink too much because it affects your liver, you're still drinking it. Tell you a lot of things that you do that you're still doing. So why are we surprised about it? Once again, common sense doesn't play into this. You still worry about, I don't want to do social distancing because I'm bucking the system, because you feel like you're bucking the system when reality is all you're doing is putting you and your family at risk. You're only prolonging the end of this thing. You're just putting off the end of this thing. It's only going to be longer because you don't want to practice social distance. You're not being respectable to other people and to your own family members. You're not even showing love. You're not basically using common sense in this situation. But let's not stop there, though, because there's so much more that a lack of common sense is being shown throughout this whole thing. Let's look at this whole stimulus package, okay? Now, $1,200, I know a lot of people probably need that money, need that money injected to them, because believe me, I know quite a few people who have lost their jobs and don't know what they're going to do. And a lot of people, unemployment is rising by the day. Rising by the day, and there's people who need some kind of financial help. And thank you for all the companies, the insurance companies, and all these people who are trying to reach out to help people through this difficult time. Thankful for all the people who are on the front lines, the essential workers, who after this is all over will be forgotten. But the point is, when we're going with this stimulus package, let's think about it for a second. How much is $1,200 really going to do for a person? How much is it going to do to correct what's going on with the economy? Let's talk about it. All right? You give somebody $1,200. Think about this. How much do your rent cost right now? Your rent, depending on where you are, is probably more or about $1,200. I'm talking about 1 month of rent. That's not including your other bills. It's not including your car insurance, car payments, food, and all this other thing. A one-time payment of $1,200 is not going to truly do much for the people who are truly financially struggling right now. It's not going to do much. And you're probably saying to yourself, well, Alan Gray, well, what is your solution? Well, I will go to what other stimulus packages that was mentioned in the later days, where the $2,000 a month for 6 months would be a better package. Be $1,200 because, see, it's giving people who don't have an income, at least it's giving them some kind of injection into this, stimulating their finances, and know I have money coming in, so I can at least try to keep up with some of my bills so I'm not falling behind. Yeah, you have this forgiveness programs for loans, and the banks are not foreclosing on your house, electric companies are not turning off the electric, but your bills are steady rising. And when this is all said and done, how are you going to get caught up? They're not forgiving, electric companies not forgiving these people who lost their jobs. The car insurance is not forgiving these people for what they owe. So you're still going to have to pay these bills. You're still going to have to buy food. And that $1,200 that you gave is only going to stretch but so far. So what do these people who lost their jobs do then? While they're sitting there waiting for unemployment? So instead of rushing to get out these $1,200 checks and make sure that Donald Trump's name is signed on the bottom of it, we should use common sense and say, let's figure out a stimulus package that's truly going to revitalize the economy. It's really going to try to help the people who are really struggling. Why didn't we sit here and think a little harder and put our heads together and stop trying to rush to make this political and make sure we were truly doing what's best for the American people, for the people who struggle? For some of us, this whole stimulus package was just extra money. Free money we could spend on things that we didn't buy or we wanted to buy, or you didn't give us your tax money. Maybe you got yourself another Gucci purse or some red bombs. Who knows what you spend your money on? But the point is, some people truly need this money because it's about survival in this moment. Some people don't have a job right now and don't know when they'll ever be able to go back to work. Use common sense, people. If you're sitting at work right now, if you're working from home, or you have to go into office and you're complaining because you're an essential worker and they're not allowing you to stay home, just be thankful that you can pay your bills, because God knows I paid my bills before I came on this camera and came on the show today, and it does feel good. I'm so thankful that I am. And I'm not saying that to be boastful. I'm not trying to say that because I'm trying to brag or anything, but it truly feels good to know that you can. And I pray for the people who can't. Because when you know people who can't, and you see people who are truly struggling, you start to appreciate the small things that you take for granted every single day. Maybe you can't work from home. Maybe you are deemed essential when you have to go work, but be thankful that at the end of the week or end of the 2 weeks, you're going to see a paycheck. You're going to be able to pay your bills. You're going to be able to pay your rent. You're not going to worry about having to go to a food pantry and hopeful they got food to feed your family. You're not going to be that person. Use common sense and be thankful. But the government needs to use common sense and just remember and understand that there's more need to be done than trying to make rush payments to people thinking you're going to change something, because it's not. It's not enough. People are really struggling out here. People out here dying, looking for hope, looking for any glimpse of light. Not just so this can end, but so they can see some type of normalcy. And normalcy don't mean, oh, I just want to go to the movies or I want to go to the mall. But normalcy is I just want to pay my bills. I want to be able to go food shopping. I want to be able to put my gas in my tank. Just the little things that we take for granted every day, or things that we recognize that we should appreciate now that we're going through this. We're recognizing a lot about ourselves. The true resilience of us as Americans, of us around the world, no matter where you are, where you watch this, where you listen to this at, where you at, was showing the true resilience that you truly have. You're showing the true character, the true grit you have, because you're pushing through this tight situation. You're pushing through one of the scariest moments that any of us lived through, because it's not too many people alive that actually lived through World War II, and I'm doubtful that anybody alive that lived through World War I. Maybe it's a few. But not many of us recognize and seeing the destruction when we were put on the brink of unknowing what's going on. We were sitting there looking evil in the eyes, and right now we can't look evil in the eyes because this evil virus that's attacking us is completely invisible. And the ways we can fight back against it, we're not using it because we're focused on, oh, they're critiquing the numbers, and numbers are made up, and we're looking at this. I get all kinds of calls and text messages, you wouldn't believe it. And you worry about whether they're critiquing the numbers or they're making it up. The point is whether you believe so or not, if you think it's a conspiracy or not. The truth is, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to protect your children? Let's go with Exhibit C. Are we on Exhibit C or B? I'm going to go with Exhibit C. Let's go with Exhibit C. If you're asking how do you protect your children against this thing, protect your children against this government-formed virus that's put out here, because I'm going to be honest, I have my opinions on it too, that this seems a little fishy. I have my opinion too. I feel like the government is sitting here putting this virus out there. I feel like a lot of stuff that you sitting here recognizing, you thinking that, oh, this is God if they're trying to punish us. No, this ain't God punishing us. This ain't God punishing us. This is us playing God. This is human beings playing God. Sitting here making up stuff in the lab, testing it out, then it gets out of control. Then you run around, grab your hair, talking about, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Trying to figure out a solution to a problem that you created because you didn't think that far ahead. You didn't use common sense to understand that it's a possibility that this might get out of hand. This might get out of control. Then you got the conspiracy theories. I call them the social media scholars who get on here. Oh, it's the man's way of controlling our money, and they want to plant chips in our brains and all this type of stuff. Like, they can do that just with the flu shot. They don't need to create a whole new virus to give you a vaccine. Well, all the vaccines they're pumping into your children, all the vaccines they're pumping into us every single year, it's pretty simple to get chips in our bodies. But the point is, this virus and a lot of things we're dealing with is man-made. This ain't God or the second coming of Jesus Christ or God. This is us playing God. And that's the problem. Too much of us playing God. So what do we do for our family? What do we do for our children? Teach your children how to grow a garden. Teach them how to create a garden in their own homes. Teach them how to be sustained, live off land like our ancestors once did. Teach them how to not live off the materialistic things that we all take for granted every day that we feel like we can't live without. Teach them about the history so they'll learn their future. Because I always say, and the reason this show was named Past to Present is because our past repeats itself. Look at it, people. Look at it. We had the swine flu pandemic. We had the West Nile virus. We had all kinds of things throughout history. And we go deeper behind it. We had all kinds of plagues and stuff that came. And I know a lot of y'all saying, they ain't wipe us out, this won't wipe us out either. It may not wipe us out, but it will eliminate a few people that we love. But there's so much more to it because there's so much more I want to get to. I don't want to miss anything, so I got to move on. But like I said, Exhibit C, teach your children how to plant gardens. Teach them how to live off land. Teach them about history. Teach them about their past so they understand and be able to adapt and maneuver through the future. More importantly, teach your children how to play chess because this ain't checkers, people. This is chess. So you need to teach your children how to strategize so they can move in a room full of vultures because that's what you're living in right now. And if you don't think so, look around. Listen to what he said. Inject yourself with disinfectant. Use common sense, people. Teach your children about how to move in a room full of vultures. Exhibit D. Okay? We got people right now in Wisconsin, Kentucky protesting because they want to reopen the economy. And I understand, listen, my kids are sitting home. They try to be crazy. This homeschooling thing, listen, man. I went to college. I got dean's list multiple times, but I don't remember fractions, okay? I'm sitting here trying to teach my child fractions. I don't know fractions. Like, remember that show, Are You Smarter Than a Third Grader? I have my oldest son is 10, he's in 4th grade. Youngest son is 5, he's in kindergarten. Let me tell you something. My wife keeps saying I got patience and stuff. Man, I don't know how many times I walked away from my 4th grade homework because I'm looking like, man, I don't know this stuff. Like, you doing these math equations and stuff. I never did this. 1 + 1 = 2. Why I gotta go the long way around and do all this extra stuff just to get the answer? I don't understand. So listen, I understand you wasn't open the economy. People, I'm telling about every parent out here right now is looking like, help me, please. Because I do not want to do another math problem, another English paper. And my wife thinks she's slick, see? Let me tell you what she's doing. I gotta do this real quick because I gotta move on. We got a lot to get to. She got me working on helping the 4th grader out, doing 4th grade work. She helping the kindergartner out and talking about, oh, we all ahead on our work. I bet you are. You reading Dr. Seuss books. All you doing is reading Dr. Seuss books and learning your sight words. I'm sitting here trying to figure out freaking fractions and science projects and social stuff. Man, listen, the point is, I understand the protesting and people wanting to reopen the economy. You know, some of y'all need to get your nails done. You need to get your hair dressed, whatever you need to do. You want to get back to some sense of normalcy. But once again, we got to use common sense, people. If we rush back to reopen the economy, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? We're going to put ourselves in a difficult position where we might reverse and have a second surge, second wave of this virus, or even worse. Put more people at risk, even you at risk. I get it. You're trying to get back to some sense of normalcy. Trust me, I would love to just go to the movies. Me and my wife are overdue. We like way past due for a date night. You know how you past due on your bill and you constantly getting called and harassed like every 5 minutes from a debt collector? That's how I feel with my wife is when we need a date night. Like, look, these kids, I'm going to say it again because a lot of y'all out there feeling me, is driving us crazy, okay? All I see is the same old movies and commercials about food, okay? That's all I see on TV. But that's nowhere here or there, okay? We're going off subject. The point is that Georgia right now is the first state to try to reopen this economy. So that means beauty salons, barbershops, nail salons are all opening up. Bowling alleys are opening up. They're reopening their economy because we need to reopen our economy. We need to get money flowing back into the economy. It made me think, I said, reopen the economy, so, yeah, you know, what would we do if the barbershop stayed closed for another month or two? Man, how would we live if the barbershop stayed closed? If the hairdressers was not open and they don't open up soon, man, this economy is going to go into the tank. If we can't go bowling, do you know what's going to happen to us? If we can't get out here and bowl, do you know what's going to happen? Forget the amount of people that's going to die. Forget the amount of people who are going to get sick and put in danger. Forget about the nurses and doctors and all the people who are on the front line fighting back against this virus, putting their lives and their family lives at risk. Forget all of them, because we need to get in there and get the nail salon. Forget 6 feet distancing. Forget social crowds, 10 more. Forget all that. We need to go back to get to bowling and get our nails and feet done. Because, a lot of y'all feet and hands are looking kind of crazy out here. So we got to get back to that, and that's more important than lives. Once again, where's common sense at, people? Do you understand that this whole reopening in Georgia is nothing more than an experiment to see how well is this going to work? Is it worth the risk? Is it time? Are we seeing the decline enough in numbers of coronavirus patients is popping up and deaths to really take this step? Are we giving into pressure of people who are not using common sense, or who are so worried about and so tired sitting home because they're not introverts, they're, extroverts? I don't know what the word is. Help me out, people in the comment section. Who are tired sitting home, so now they're in the streets protesting together? Once again, disregarding social distancing, disregarding not having 10 or more in the crowd, out here protesting because you want to get back to your normal life, because you want to reopen nail salons. Listen, I get it. Small businesses need to open up. I get it. Companies need to open up. People need to go back to work. We're trying to reverse the unemployment, but we're also trying to put people's lives over money. And I know in today's world, that's not an ideal thing, to actually put people's lives over money, that money is more important than lives. But I was hoping that through this crisis, we would actually learn something, that some of our mindsets have changed, where we actually start to recognize the importance of people and not money. Now, I get it. We do have to open our economy back up. At some point, we do have to get back to normal. But we also have to allow the people who are intelligent, the doctors, the people, the scientists, the people who know when this virus is under control. We have to go back and let them do their job and tell us when. Not politicians and people who are just dealing with finance. We're not going to economic people who study economics and asking them, how do we deal with reopening the economy with the virus? Because the reality is, it's not just about money. It's about an invisible attack from a virus that we don't have under control. We don't have vaccines. We don't have nothing to fight back against it. Other than what the president said, some disinfectant that you want to inject in your body that you're going to kill yourself with. I said this in previous episode. I think it was the Roe versus Wade about the abortions. I said this. I said I wouldn't go to my doctor and ask him about when should I get an oil change in my car. Nor would I go to my mechanic and ask him, when should I get a checkup or get a physical from my mechanic? So why am I going to go to a politician and say, hey, when should we reopen the economy due to this coronavirus? How should we approach this coronavirus and trying to figure out how to put an end to this? When's the right time? Where does that make sense at? You don't do that anywhere else in your life, so why are you doing it now? When it's the most vulnerable, when you're putting yourself in the most danger. At what point does common sense kick in and we say to ourselves, we have to make different decisions, better decisions? I understand we're under extreme pressure. We're all going crazy. Our kids are driving us crazy. Some of our spouses are driving us crazy. Sometimes we keep watching the same thing on TV. It's driving us crazy. I ain't put gas in my car. I put my gas in my car one time in the last, month and a half. I get it. It's driving us crazy. But at the same time, this is a moment that's going to show us what our true character is. This is the moment where we're going to come out of this and we're going to find out a lot about ourselves. More importantly, this is the moment where we're going to test something that no stimulus, no one can give us, no one can teach us. It's how to have common sense and to use it, because that's what's going to help you survive. That's what's going to show you. And when you come out of this, a lot of us is going to be exposed for not having common sense, including our own president. What he said was disgraceful, disrespectful, very negligent, and very irresponsible. And I pray that none of you guys out here, none of you people out here, if you're listening, I hope this podcast actually saves someone's life. Please, don't make this stupid decision and fall victim to thinking that disinfectant is going to kill coronaviruses in you. Look at the labels to the bottles of these chemicals you're buying. They're used for surfaces, such as your toilet, your countertops, your walls, your doorknobs. Play surfaces, not your body. Don't do it. I know you're scared right now. I know you're feeling lonely and you don't feel there's no end to this. But I can assure you, The end is near. We'll all go back to normal, even if it's a different type of normal. We're going to come out as better and stronger. You're going to find out more about yourself and that you're stronger than you thought you were. Trust me. More importantly, trust you. I want to thank you for joining me for another episode of Past and Present Podcast. Until next time I see you people, I only got one thing left to say to you. Stay healthy. Peace.